All right, hi, this is Mrs. Piper, and we're back for the next part, or the next phase, of making our coil inlay pot, which is going to become our face jug. Now, as you recall, we took our little plastic bowls, we put our names on them, we lined them with wet paper towels that we tore into strips, we rolled our coils on our workstation, and then we layered them in a coil pattern all the way up the side of the wall. Well, what you're going to do for the next part is you're going to repeat that process. So you're going to do it all over again and make a second one. So as you can see, I have here a second coil inlay pot that goes up to the edge of the bowl. This one might be a little bit low, but I think it'll be okay. I might want to actually add a little bit of coil to that. Remember, when you're adding your coils, you can cut them if you need to. And you're going to smooth them out on the inside. See that line right there? That's where they're meeting. Now I've got to smooth it out so that they stick together. So this is my second half. This is a hemisphere, right? Half of a sphere. I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to smooth it together. So I have half a sphere in one bowl and the other half of a sphere in the other bowl. And what we're going to have to do is connect these two bowls like that, so that we have a round spherical shape made out of clay. Well, if you want to put two pieces of clay together, you have to get them ready to bond to one another. And we do a process called scoring and slipping. Scoring and slipping is where you're scratching the clay to make it adhere. I always use this as an example. If I have a coil of clay and I have another coil of clay and I put them next to each other, as they dry, they're just going to pull apart, right? But if the edges of the clay are scratched, the edges of this clay are scratched, when they join together, they're going to bond. And it's kind of like zippers or Velcro. So we need to scratch, we need to score, and then slip. Now remember, I told you when this started, this cup had water in it, but now we're going to put slip in it. Slip is made from clay and water mixed together. So I am going to tear off some clay pieces and add them to the water. Now the next class period, when you come in, this will just be, muddy water. But right now it's still pretty clear. Since my clay is fresh, I should be all right. But just so you know, slip is a clay and water mixture, and we're going to use the slip to adhere the two vessels together. Now, even though this isn't clearly slip yet, it will be as soon as it dissolves, but since this is fresh clay, I should be fine. So, how do you score and slip? Well, remember we got a fork. You're going to take that fork and you're going to scratch, and I'm going to hold it real close. You're going to scratch the top edge of your bowl or of your pot. And if you'll notice, I'm scratching in a bunch of different directions, and I'm just roughening it up. Don't stab it. I don't want you to poke at it. I want you to scratch it. Okay? That one looks pretty good. I hope you can see that. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Now remember, we said score, that's the scratching, and slip, that's the slip, the clay and water mixture. Now what happens is, do you see all these little grooves? Well, the slip, or the water in this case, is going to go into those grooves, moisten them up so that when the two stick together, it's like a glue. It's like an adhesive to stick them together. Okay? So, I have my two spheres. I have scored them, and now I'm going to slip them. I'm going to take that clay and water mixture, and I'm going to brush it over the edge of the bowl. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Okay, so now both of these bowls have been scored and slipped. I'm going to move this out of the way. And now I just need to fuse them together. So I hope you can see. I'm going to take each side and I'm going to push it into the other side. And I'm going to press firmly. And then I'm going to let it sit. You're going to let it sit for a while because you want the clay to bond. And if you were to just take off the bowl right now, the clay is still very, very wet, very slippery, and it might not bond together. So if you'll notice, I've pressed them together. I hope you can see that. And both of the sides of the pot are now fusing together. So I'm going to let that sit for a little while, and I'll come back in just a few minutes. Thank you for watching.